"We are losing him," Raven exclaimed, initiating chest compressions on the elderly patient. Her arms throbbed with fatigue after a grueling 16-hour shift, yet she pressed on, driven by the weight of a life hanging in the balance. "Charging to 300. Understood," Dr. Martinez exclaimed. Raven recoiled as the defibrillator surged, sending a shock through the patient. Silence prevails. Stagnation. Once more. Unambiguous. A fresh surprise. Nothing yet. Amidst the turmoil, Raven glimpsed her 4-year-old Cole nestled asleep on the breakroom couch, framed by the window. Her son had once again spent the night at the hospital, as she couldn't manage to pay for a sitter. The rhythm of his chest rising and falling urged her to quicken her pace. "Once more," she implored. "He's someone's father, too." The third revelation hit hard. A faint heartbeat flickered on the monitor. "Well done, Blackwood," Dr. Martinez remarked as they worked to stabilize the patient. "Go see how your friend is doing. Your shift concluded 2 hours prior." Raven acknowledged with a nod of gratitude, but just as she was about to depart, her phone vibrated. Yet another medical bill has arrived. $243,190 surveillant for Cole's upcoming surgery. Her hands quivered as she gazed at the number. "Mom?" Cole's drowsy voice drifted in from the doorway. "Can we head back now?" She swiftly brushed aside a tear and put on a smile. "Of course, darling, just a moment." "Pardon me." A deep voice cut in. Raven glanced over to see a tall figure clad in a tailored suit. His gaze fixed on her with keen interest. "I found myself unintentionally listening in. I would like to talk to you regarding your son's circumstances." "I'm afraid I can't." "Please," he said softly. "Just 5 minutes of your time could change everything." Raven glanced between the stranger and her son, contemplating her choices. After 16 hours of observing the fates of others' children, determined by the wealth of their parents, she found herself yearning to hear more. "Cole, sweetheart, please head back to the break room for a little while. A mother has something to discuss with this man." As her son walked off, the unfamiliar figure reached out his hand. "I'm Milo Thorne, and I have a proposition that could save your son's life." "I don't accept charity," Raven replied resolutely. Her arms crossed as she confronted Milo in the desolate hospital corridor. "This is not charity. It's a business arrangement." Milo leaned against the wall, keeping a measured distance. "You require insurance coverage for your son's surgery. I require a partner for my own reasons." Raven emitted a sharp laugh. "A spouse? Is this for real?" "Absolutely. Union of practicality. A minimum of 1 year. My insurance includes dependents from the very first day. No waiting period. And what exactly do you gain from this?" Raven's gaze sharpened. "Because if you're expecting—" "Nothing like that," Milo interrupted quickly. "Separate sleeping quarters. Distinct paths. I just need to give the impression of being married for certain business commitments." Raven observed him, noting the impeccably fitted suit, the luxurious watch, and the way he exuded a calm assurance. "Why me? I noticed the way you managed that cardiac case. You are capable, committed, and evidently open to exploring unique options, yet not so eager that you would accept without scrutinizing my intentions. That's precisely the type of individual I require." Another medical alert chimed on Raven's phone. She cast a fleeting look at Cole through the break room window, his petite frame nestled against his cherished stuffed giraffe. The date of the surgery was approaching rapidly, and she found herself with dwindling choices. What's the twist? Legal documentation, a prenup safeguarding our shared assets. You will need to participate in some business events, a fundamental cohabitation to uphold appearances. He presented her with a business card. "I provide expert advice and guidance. Decent earnings, yet outstanding perks. What comes after the year? A straightforward separation, free of complications. Your son undergoes his surgery. I sort out my business troubles, and it's a win for all." Raven's pager buzzed. Yet another urgent call. "I must take some time to reflect on this." "You have a full day," Milo stated. "After that, I'll have to explore other avenues." She rushed toward the emergency, thoughts swirling in her mind. The idea of marrying someone she barely knew twisted her stomach in knots. Yet Cole's most recent echocardiogram revealed a troubling decline in his condition. Without surgery soon. "Mama!" Cole shouted as she walked by the break room. "Could we possibly enjoy some pancakes?" Raven halted, her heart tightening. "Not today, darling. Perhaps tomorrow." "You always say tomorrow," he murmured, his lower lip quivering. She observed him make his way back to the couch, his movements noticeably more sluggish than those of other children his age. The procedure promised him a chance at a typical childhood, filled with running, playing, and all the joys of youth. Yet it raised profound questions about the price she would pay for her dignity. Later that night, after settling Cole into his bed in their small apartment, Raven retrieved Milo's card. The edges had become frayed from her constant handling throughout the day. She reflected on her former husband, who had left as soon as Cole's diagnosis was revealed, on the additional job she had already taken, and on the fundraisers that hardly made a difference in the mounting medical expenses. Her phone illuminated with yet another message from the hospital billing department, a final notice. With trembling fingers, she dialed Milo's number. "Mr. Thorne, this is Raven Blackwood. Regarding your proposal." Curiosity stirred within me. Milo observed Raven from the hospital cafeteria the following morning, cradling a coffee that had long since lost its warmth. She navigated seamlessly among her patients, her dark hair gathered in a casual bun, fatigue apparent in every gesture. Yet she consistently offered a warm smile to each individual she assisted. His phone vibrated, signaling yet another message from the board of directors. "The marriage clause in my grandfather's will necessitates action within a 30-day time frame. Requesting a status update." He removed it without any reply. The irony was not lost on him. His grandfather's antiquated belief that a married man made for a more stable CEO was poised to play a crucial role in saving a child's life. A disturbance caught his eye. Cole emerged at the nurse's station, pulling along his 4-pole with him. "Mama, look!" The boy proudly displayed his drawing. Milo observed as Raven knelt, her expression gentle while she took in the crayon drawings that adorned the paper. "It's lovely, darling, but what's with the 3 individuals? That's the kind gentleman from yesterday. He is going to assist us, correct?" Raven's gaze flitted about, momentarily resting on Milo before she guided Cole back to his room. The boy's pure words lingered in the space that separated them. Subsequently, they convened in the hospital chapel, the sole sanctuary accessible to them. "I have conditions," Raven declared, striding purposefully between the vacant pews. "Cole is the priority without exception. If this has any negative impact on him, the agreement is terminated. Understood. I maintain my position, my living space, my autonomy." Naturally, Milo retrieved a folder. "I had my lawyer prepare a detailed agreement, outlining everything, including the terms of the divorce." Raven leafed through the documents, her nurse's badge glinting in the light. "This is truly unfolding, isn't it?" "Only if you're certain," Milo said, leaning in closer. "I understand that this situation isn't perfect. Nothing in my life is perfect, Mr. Thorne." She took a pen from her scrub's pocket. "Where should I put my signature?" "Call me Milo. If we're tying the knot tomorrow, we ought to be on a first-name basis." Her pen lingered above the paper. "Tomorrow. Time is of the essence for both of us." He indicated toward Cole's room further down the hallway. "For various reasons. Just ensure that I don't look back on this with regret. I will give it my all." Milo carefully stowed the papers, pushing aside the urge for his hands to tremble. "The courthouse opens at 9 o'clock. I will pick you both up at 8:30. As he walked away, he heard Cole's voice drift from his room. "Mom, will I be able to run like the other kids once the doctors fix my heart?" Milo hurried his pace, his sister's visage vividly replaying in his mind. Some opportunities arise but a single time. He was determined not to let another child fade into the background if he had any say in the matter. "The rings are understated accessories," Milo clarified, presenting a velvet box in the courthouse parking lot, devoid of any ostentation that could attract notice. Raven gazed intently at the unadorned gold rings. "Yesterday, She found herself a single mother overwhelmed by a sea of medical bills. Today, she was tying the knot with someone she barely knew, dressed in a crumpled scrub top she had slipped into after finishing her night shift. "Mama, I'm hungry," Cole complained from his stroller. "Soon, darling." She slid the ring on, taken aback by how perfectly it fit. "How did you come to know my size?" "I excel in the finer points." Milo straightened his tie, the sole indication of his unease. "Shall we proceed?" The courthouse was alive with activity. Their meeting with the justice of the peace was nestled between a contentious divorce and a custody battle. How appropriate. What are the names? The clerk hardly lifted her gaze from the screen. Milo James Thorne and Raven Elizabeth Blackwood. "And who's this little fellow?" she inquired, at last recognizing Cole. "My son," Raven said hastily. "He's not included in there's no adoption taking place. I'm merely reviewing the documents, dear." The clerk applied several stamps to the papers. "Hold on a moment. Judge Miller will be with you shortly." They sat in stiff plastic chairs, feeling the discomfort settle in. Cole drifted off in his stroller as Raven battled her own fatigue. "The insurance cards will arrive next week," Milo whispered. "I've already included you both in the policy." "That quickly? As I mentioned, I excel in the finer points." "Thorne and Blackwood?" A bailiff made a call. The ceremony unfolded in a precise 6 minutes. Judge Miller seemed preoccupied with her divorce case, hastily going through the usual proceedings while glancing at her watch. "By the authority granted to me, as husband and wife, you may now share a kiss." Raven stood still, caught in the moment. They had not addressed this aspect. Milo resolved the issue with a gentle kiss on her cheek. His lips radiated warmth, while his beard had a gentle scratchiness to it. It had an uncanny authenticity. "Congratulations," Judge Miller stated, lacking any real enthusiasm. Next case, outside Cole was completely alert. "Can we please have pancakes now?" "Yes," Milo replied before Raven had the chance to speak. "I have a location in mind close by. Think of it as our wedding breakfast." Over chocolate chip pancakes, they finalized the last details. Milo was set to move in that weekend. They would share that they had been seeing each other discreetly for several months. Simplify everything. "Just one more thing," Milo said, assisting Cole in slicing his pancakes. "My company is hosting a dinner next week. Nothing extravagant, but you have to showcase your new wife," Raven concluded. "Would that pose an issue?" She glanced at her modest ring before turning her gaze to Cole, who was joyfully enjoying his breakfast. For him, she was capable of embodying any character required. "Just tell me what to wear." It took less than an hour to move Milo in. He showed up with a pair of suitcases, a laptop bag, and a pile of documents awaiting their signatures. "This place," he began, surveying her cozy 2-bedroom apartment. "It's all I can manage on a nurse's salary," Raven concluded, a hint of defensiveness in her voice. "The spare room is small, yet perfect," he interjected seamlessly. "I only require a space to rest and create," Cole observed from the threshold as Milo sorted through his sparse possessions. "Why doesn't he have any toys?" "Adults typically don't," Raven started. "Actually," Milo interjected, retrieving an item from his bag. "I possess this," he declared, lifting a worn chest set high. "My sister introduced me to the game when I was around your age. Could you guide me in learning?" Cole's eyes sparkled with excitement. "Once you've had your rest," Raven stated with conviction. "And your medicine." Later, once Cole had drifted off, they gathered at her small kitchen table, poring over the documents. "A joint checking account for household expenses," Milo clarified. "I will contribute my portion on a monthly basis. Your individual accounts stay distinct." "What about the surgery?" "Planned for the upcoming month. The insurance has already given the green light." Raven's hand trembled as she affixed her signature. A single signature changed everything, preserving her son's life. It seemed almost effortless. "Regarding the company dinner," Milo said thoughtfully, "we ought to hone our skills in persuasion." "What does it mean?" "Little details. The story of our meeting. Names for pets. Essential information that partners should be familiar with regarding one another. What do you mean? My coffee selection. The book that holds a special place in your heart. The small deceptions that lend credibility to larger fabrications. Raven contemplated the inquiries from the nurses at work, their questions looming on the horizon. You prefer your coffee without any additions. You have an allergy to shellfish. Our paths crossed when you arrived at the emergency room. For a sprained ankle. Milo raised an eyebrow. You excel at this. I have a knack for recalling specifics. It's part of my job. She rose to her feet. I ought to see how Cole is doing, Raven. Her progress came to a halt at the sound of his voice. Thank you for making this easy, she said, barely suppressing a laugh. Nothing about marrying a stranger to save her son was simple. Yet as she glanced at the insurance card already tucked in her wallet, she offered a determined nod. Just keep in mind that you're an essential part of the arrangement. He confirmed it was 1 year. Then you're free. Yet, as she glanced at Cole, Raven pondered whether she would ever genuinely escape the weight of her actions today, or if she had inadvertently tied herself to this stranger in ways that no legal document could sever. The initial week of their union challenged them in unforeseen manners. Daddy used to make my toast with circles, Cole declared at breakfast, causing both adults to pause in surprise. Cole, Raven said softly. Mr. Milo isn't. Just Milo is fine, he interrupted, already slicing the toast into circles. And it's no trouble. Raven observed his interaction with Cole, noticing how effortlessly he connected with the child, a surprising trait for someone who appeared so dedicated to their career, another detail that felt out of place. As soon as I arrived at the office, the inquiries began to pour in. Hey girl, did you tie the knot? Lisa, her favorite charge nurse, discreetly approached her in the medication room, keeping it between them. It was sudden. Raven concentrated on counting the pills. How abrupt. And who might he be? So what's the reason we haven't crossed paths with him yet? He is a consultant. We've been seeing each other discreetly. Given Cole's situation, we preferred to maintain our privacy. Lisa folded her arms. Indeed. So, it has no connection to Cole's surgery next month? Raven's hands came to a halt. What are you trying to say? Darling, I've reviewed the insurance paperwork. Convenient timing, that's all I'm saying. It's not like that, Raven protested, the lie tasting bitter on her tongue. I hope not, because that boy deserves better than a fake father. The words lingered in Raven's mind as she returned home, where she discovered Milo and Cole engrossed in a chess match. Knight takes pawn, Cole announced with a sense of triumph. Well done, Milo commended, but keep an eye on your queen. It's time for bed, Raven interjected. Just 5 more minutes? Tomorrow, Milo vowed. We'll work on your strategy. Later, once Cole had drifted off, Raven faced Milo in the kitchen. Inquiries are being made. Allow them. He remained focused on his laptop, not glancing away. They believe my marriage to you was for security. Well, it was. But they can't know that, she whispered, her voice dropping to a conspiratorial hush. If the hospital investigates, they won't. He locked eyes with her. Everything is permissible. The union, the coverage, everything involved. Concentrate on Cole's operation. Allow me to take care of the remainder. There was a quality in his voice that caused her to hesitate. There's something deeper to this arrangement that you're not revealing. Isn't there? For a fleeting instant, she believed he might reveal his truth. Instead, he shut his laptop. Good night, Raven. She observed him fade into the empty room, pondering what additional mysteries her fabricated spouse might be hiding. The valiant knight lifted his blade high. Milo's voice floated out from Cole's bedroom, causing Raven to halt in the hallway. Did he emerge victorious? Cole inquired with a hint of drowsiness. Let's discover the answer tomorrow. It's time to sleep. Just 1 more page. Kindly. You have an incredible talent for voices. Raven leaned against the wall, reminiscing about all the nights she had spent reading to Cole in his hospital room. 2 weeks into their arrangement, her son had already become fond of Milo's nightly storytelling ritual. "Mom?" Cole shouted, noticing her. "Can Milo read just one more page?" She stepped into the room, absorbing the atmosphere around her. Milo perched in the diminutive chair next to Cole's bed, a tattered edition of The Knight's Tale resting in his grasp. Her son's medical equipment was meticulously organized to ensure that bedtime snuggles were still possible, a skill she had yet to teach Milo. "You're becoming quite skilled at handling his IV lines," she noted. "I observe the nurses," Milo said softly, "and I watch YouTube tutorials." Another element that clashed with his corporate persona, much like the costly timepiece that vanished once he began his role at the apartment, or the way he appeared to be familiar with medical jargon that no advisor ought to understand. "Just one more page," she admitted, settling onto Cole's bed. "Then sleep." As Milo wove the tale, infusing it with distinct voices for each character, Raven began to notice more intricate details. The tender manner in which he cradled the book, the thoughtful pauses he took to allow Cole to inquire, the fleeting shadow that passed over his face when the tale spoke of ailing royalty. Cole drifted into slumber before the last word was read, his tiny hand grasping Milo's sleeve tightly. "You've been here before?" Raven remarked as they slipped out of the room with a hushed demeanor. As Milo read to the sick children, his expression became distant and withdrawn. "What leads you to that conclusion?" "The manner in which you manage his medical equipment, your understanding of the need to keep his arm elevated during the IV. Begins to emit a series of beeps. Small details. In the kitchen, Milo immersed himself in the process of making tea, a soothing nighttime ritual he had recently embraced. "I mentioned that I excel in the finer points." "No," Raven insisted. "This is unique. This is experience." He offered her a mug, the inexpensive ceramic sharply contrasting with his perfectly groomed nails. "We each carry our own tales, Raven. Not everything requires sharing. We are united in marriage. In theory," she counted, "a document that grants you access to my son. I believe I have a right to know." Just then, his phone buzzed, cutting through the moment. Raven caught a fleeting view of the screen, a mention of board meetings and quarterly reports, before he swiftly muted it. "I have early calls tomorrow," he remarked, "and you're on the night shift." "Milo, good night, Raven." He lingered at his door. "The surgery is scheduled for 2 weeks from now. Let's just concentrate on that." Alone in the kitchen, Raven sipped her tea and pondered the mounting list of discrepancies in her paper husband's narrative. The costly shoes he attempted to conceal, the familiarity hospital administrators seemed to have with his name, and how he could manage a sudden marriage merely to fulfill some ambiguous business commitments. A message from Lisa illuminated her phone screen. "The background check on your man revealed some intriguing details. We need to have a conversation." Raven gazed at the message for a prolonged moment, then chose to erase it. Whatever Milo's secrets might be, they surely couldn't compare to her desperate decision to wed a stranger for the sake of security. Could they? The gentle beeping of the heart monitor emanated from Cole's room, a persistent reminder of the decision she had made. With only 2 weeks left until the surgery, she knew she had to keep up the act until then. Yet, as she prepared for her shift, an unsettling feeling lingered. Had she really brought more complications into their lives than merely a paper marriage? The company dinner took place at one of Boston's most exclusive restaurants, leaving Raven feeling out of place in her borrowed dress. Milo had secured a reliable nurse to care for Cole, yet she found herself glancing at her phone repeatedly. "Take it easy," Milo murmured, his hand gently resting on her lower back as he navigated her through the throng of people. "Cole is doing well. Concentrate on navigating the upcoming hours." A silver-haired man named Thorne approached them. "Ah, so this is the enigmatic new wife, James?" Milo acknowledged with a nod. Introducing Raven. "Raven, meet James Whitaker, our head of operations." "Charmed," James remarked, his gaze on her surprisingly intense. "How did the two of you come together?" "The ER," Raven responded effortlessly, recalling their rehearsed narrative. Milo was dealing with a sprained ankle. "Seriously?" James arched an eyebrow. "Funny, I thought," James began, but Milo interrupted him abruptly. How is the Singapore merger progressing? The discussion turned to business, yet Raven noticed the knowing glance James exchanged with Milo. There was an unsettling feeling in the air. As dinner progressed, additional inconsistencies came to light. Executives yielded to Milo in ways that no typical consultant could expect. The waitstaff appeared to anticipate his preferences without inquiry, and the check never made its way to the table. Your husband's being modest about his position, a woman named Margaret whispered to Raven in the bathroom. But I suppose that's part of his charm. Back at their table, Raven observed Milo as he effortlessly commanded the room with a quiet authority. This was not a man who sought marriage for the sake of business commitments. This individual was adept at turning business commitments into reality. Her phone vibrated, displaying a picture from the nurse of Cole resting serenely. The view grounded her. No matter what secrets Milo held, he was aiding in the rescue of her son. That surely must hold some significance. Are you prepared to begin? Milo materialized next to her. In the car, she finally inquired, Who are you truly? You know my true self. No, she countered. I recognize the facade you wear. There's a distinction. He remained silent for a considerable time, his fingers drumming on the steering wheel. Would it make a difference? What if I wasn't precisely the person I claimed to be? It all hinges on what you're concealing. Only 2 weeks left until Cole's surgery, he reminded her. Can we simply keep things as they are until that time? Raven reflected on Cole's vibrant transformation since the insurance began, the joy in his laughter during chess matches with Milo, and how he had ceased inquiring about his biological father. 2 weeks, she conceded with a hint of hesitation. But after that, I want the truth. After that, Milo said softly, you might not want anything to do with me. The remainder of the drive unfolded in silence, each absorbed in reflections on the deceptions that connected them and the realities that could drive them apart. 3 in the morning. Discovered Raven rummaging through Milo's desk drawer during his absence on a business trip. She was aware of the moral implications, yet following the dinner that evening, she found herself in desperate need of clarity. His laptop had a password, yet the paper files revealed plenty. Stock certificates, board meeting minutes, property deeds. None of it aligns with the unassuming life of a business consultant. Mom? Cole's voice caught her off guard. My chest hurts, she said, hastily pushing the papers away. Coming, baby. In Cole's room, she discovered him holding tightly to his stuffed giraffe, his face ashen. Once she had assessed his vitals and administered the medication, she settled down next to him. Where is Milo? He inquired with a hint of drowsiness. Don't forget about the work, okay? Will he return? The question struck with an unexpected intensity. Certainly, he is. Are you sure about that? She paused, recalling the papers she had discovered. Make sure to get some rest, darling. A message from Milo illuminated her phone. How is Cole doing? She gazed at it intently. What made him decide to ask at this very moment? Yet another fragment that failed to align. Had a challenging moment. I'm feeling much better now, she responded. Checking the monitors in the hospital. The figures appear consistent. Are the hospital monitors operational? He ought not to have access to those. Apologies. He quickly added that he had called the night nurse. Additional falsehoods. As dawn broke, she discovered a package waiting patiently outside their door. Inside lay a chess set that far surpassed Milo's old one, accompanied by a note, for Cole's future victories. Tucked within was a receipt from a prestigious shop in Switzerland. Yesterday's date. He mentioned a business trip to Philadelphia. She reached out to the hospital billing department. This is Raven Blackwood. I need to confirm some details regarding my insurance. Ah, Mrs. Thorne, the clerk remarked. Everything has been managed by the main policyholder. Main policyholder? Indeed, the executive platinum plan belonging to Mr. Thorne. Extremely thorough. This isn't the standard level of coverage we typically provide. Raven ended the call, fragments aligning perfectly. The respect shown at the dinner table, the concealed papers, the entry to the hospital. Her phone vibrated, another message from Milo. Arriving shortly, I brought Cole a little something from Philadelphia. She gazed at her slumbering son, his medical equipment now state-of-the-art, a result of enigmatic insurance enhancements. A simple online search is likely to uncover all the information you need. Yet, was she truly eager to find out? Just 2 weeks left until the surgery. For 2 weeks, she maintained the facade that the man she wed was not leading a life filled with secrets. For Cole's sake, she could uphold the pretense. Yet following the surgery, she caressed her wedding ring, the unadorned band that now bore the weight of unspoken truths. Following the surgery, a transformation awaited. She merely wished they would all remain intact when the truth eventually surfaced. Meet Boston's latest tech sensation, Milo Thorne, and his billion-dollar empire. The magazine headline shouted from the hospital gift shop display. Raven could have overlooked it entirely if Cole hadn't indicated the recognizable face on the cover. "Hey mama, check it out, it's Milo." Her hands trembled as she reached for the magazine. There he stood, her paper husband, clad in an immaculate suit, embodying the essence of the powerful CEO he was said to be. The piece explored his ascent within the technology sector, the innovative medical software developed by his company, and his projected net worth of $3.2 billion. "Is it possible for us to purchase it?" Cole inquired with a sense of naivety. "I wish to reveal it to him at bedtime." "Not today, darling." She swiftly returned the magazine to its place, ensuring she retained crucial details in her mind. Thorne Technology. Software tailored for the specialized needs of pediatric cardiac care. A sister taken too soon by a congenital heart condition akin to Cole's. The fragments weren't merely aligning. They were tumbling violently around her. Returning to Cole's hospital room for his pre-surgery checkup, she observed the equipment with a fresh perspective. A fresh approach to cardiac monitoring technology. The emblem of Thorne Technology. The enhanced 4 pumps. Identical logo. Even the devices the nurses utilized for documentation. "Madam Thorne?" Dr. Martinez walked in, beaming with a cheerful smile. "Wonderful update regarding Cole's surgery timetable. Someone worked behind the scenes to secure the leading pediatric cardiac surgeon in the nation for us. Is there anyone there?" Raven's voice floated like a delicate breeze. "Oh, you understand the way these matters unfold," the doctor winked. "Having connections with influential people can be quite beneficial." Cole was engrossed in his tablet game, yet another recent gift from Milo. As Raven's reality shifted dramatically, her phone vibrated softly. "Milo, the meeting is running behind schedule. Let's have dinner on me." She gazed intently at the message. How often had he donned the guise of the unassuming consultant, meticulously counting coins at the grocery store, all the while possessing billions at his fingertips. "Mom, could Milo read me a couple of stories tonight?" Cole inquired. Given that he was absent last night, "Darling, we must discuss Milo. Is he going away like Daddy did?" The tremor in her son's voice froze her in place. Just 1 week left until the surgery. Just 1 more week to uphold this illusion before facing the truth behind the deceptions. "No, dear, he's simply occupied assisting other ill children." She came to the realization that it wasn't completely untrue. The magazine article meticulously outlined Thorne Technology's mission to enhance pediatric care, driven by the profound impact of his sister's passing. That evening, as Milo returned home, she observed his metamorphosis from a commanding CEO to their humble consultant. Shedding his tailored suit for casual attire, taking off his opulent watch, and revealing the man she believed she had wed. "Cole is currently asleep?" he inquired, easing the grip of his tie. "Your company's logo is displayed on his heart monitor," she said softly. Milo stood still, caught in a moment of disbelief. "Raven, refrain." She raised her hand. "Simply share one thing with me. Did any of it truly exist? Or was I merely another asset to be acquired?" He confessed that the marriage was arranged. Yet all the other elements, Cole, the narratives, the matches of chess, he swept his fingers through his hair. That came to fruition. What is the reason behind the deceit? It would have been easy to simply throw money at the issue. His voice carried a sharp edge. As if that would have fixed all the issues. As if it made any difference while my sister was fading away. The anguish in his voice was palpable, authentic. For the first time, she glimpsed beyond both facades, the billionaire and the consultant, to the true man beneath. After much contemplation, she finally declared 1 week. The surgery is completed successfully. Next, we will unravel whatever this may be. He nodded with deliberation. 7 days. However, Raven? Their gazes intertwined. Not everything was untrue. That night, she lay in bed, her mind swirling with an abundance of questions, far outnumbering the answers she sought. Yet there remains one undeniable truth. Everything changed irrevocably following Cole's surgery. The sole inquiry was whether they had come out more resilient or utterly shattered. Raven lingered in the penthouse office, anticipation hanging in the air as she awaited Milo's arrival. The genuine one, not their humble abode. She discovered the address in the magazine article and utilized her emergency keycard, the one he insisted was meant for consulting meetings. "You can't be here," he said as he stepped inside, halting abruptly at the sight of her. "It's amusing, isn't it? As your partner, I always believed I could be by your side no matter where you go." She flung the magazine onto his desk. "When did you intend to share this with me? Following Cole's surgery? Following our separation? Absolutely not. Please, Raven. $3 billion, Milo. You could have effortlessly penned a check for Cole's surgery. Instead, you wove this intricate tale. It wasn't that way. Please provide an explanation for me." She waved her hand, indicating the opulent surroundings of the office. "Discuss the reasons behind a billionaire CEO's decision to marry a nurse facing financial difficulties." Milo loosened his tie, a fidgeting habit she had come to identify. "The marriage clause in my grandfather's will was indeed genuine. I required a partner to ensure the smooth operation of the business. And you selected me because, since you required something as well." He sank into his chair with a weighty presence. "Because I observed you battle for Cole in a manner I was unable to for my sister. For there are moments when wealth does not hold the solution." "Please don't." Her voice trembled. "Don't act like this was for our benefit." He confessed it began as a business venture. "Yet Cole, you transformed it into something greater. More deception, you imply." She retrieved her phone, revealing the hospital monitoring app she had stumbled upon. "Just as you've been monitoring Cole's vitals and reviewing his medical records. Concern weighed heavily on my mind. You had no authority." The words burst forth from her. "Ah, he's my son, not your personal endeavor. Raven, the chess matches, the narratives that built his trust in you, was any of it genuine?" Milo rose, extending his hand toward her. "Everything. Each instant spent with Cole." She withdrew. "Keep your distance." "Please don't." Her voice faltered. "Stop feigning concern for us when this was merely a transaction. It's genuine." His voice carried a gritty edge. "Pose a question to yourself. If it were merely a transaction, why didn't I choose a partner who was less complicated? Is there anyone uncomplicated? Is there anyone who wouldn't create me?" He came to a halt. "What do you mean by that?" "Experience emotions I haven't encountered since Sarah passed away." He swept his fingers through his hair. "My sibling. She was the same age as Cole when we lost her. Observing him, assisting him, it has provided me with a sense of fulfillment that transcends mere financial gain." Raven sensed the impending swell of tears. "Your words lack credibility for me. So have faith in what you've observed." Each evening has been dedicated to sharing stories with him. Each chess match. In every instance, I've preferred your apartment to this office. Beautiful phrases from someone who has constructed a kingdom on deception. He reminded her that there was just 1 week until the surgery. "Allow me to demonstrate. What is there to prove? Are you truly valuing our presence? Is this really just a convoluted attempt to atone for your sister?" The weight of her words struck him profoundly. "Excellent. She mentioned that she's taking Cole to her mother's. We will come back for the procedure. Following that, she removed her wedding ring. We hereby consider our business arrangement to be terminated. Raven, if you would be so kind." Yet she had already departed, abandoning her ring and the remnants of their broken trust. Hour 6 in the surgical waiting room, and Raven remained steadfast in her chair. Cole entered the operating room as the first light of dawn broke through the horizon. His voice, though small, carried a brave weight as he inquired, "Will Milo be here when I wake up?" She was at a loss for words. "Would you like some coffee?" The sound of Milo's voice caught her off guard. He stood there, clutching 2 cups, his appearance far from that of a billionaire, with a wrinkled shirt and tousled hair. "Thank you." She accepted one, observing his hands quivering ever so slightly. "You could have left at any time." "Indeed I did." He positioned himself next to her, keeping a measured space between them. "No matter your opinion of me, my concern for Cole remains strong." The television in the waiting room hummed softly in the background, presenting a segment on business news. Raven noticed the stock price of Thorn Technologies just as Milo swiftly switched the channel. "She came to the realization of your board meeting. Today was the day you were meant to be present. They'll manage just fine in my absence. Will that have an impact on your grandfather's clause?" Most likely, he gazed into his coffee. "There are aspects of life that hold greater value than wealth." The quiet lingered in the air, punctuated by the rhythmic beeping of monitors and the faint echoes of distant announcements. "Share with me the story of Sarah," Raven finally requested. "Your sibling." Milo's breath hitched. At the age of 8, she was just beginning to discover the world around her. Identical heart condition to Cole's. "Our guardians." He took a deep breath. "The surgery was beyond our financial means. When my grandfather extended his hand, the moment had already passed. You established a business aimed at assisting other kids. Yet I found myself unable to directly assist the child who brought her to mind the most." His laughter carried a sharp edge. "The illustrious Milo Thorn, constrained to intricate plans solely to rescue a single child. It would have been better if you had simply shared the truth with me. Would you have welcomed my assistance? Or would your sense of self have led you to decline?" Raven recalled the moment she had first turned down his marriage proposal. "That decision wasn't yours to take." Indeed, he concurred. Yet observing Cole grow stronger, witnessing his laughter during our chess matches, I couldn't jeopardize that by revealing the truth. "So you continued to deceive." "I found myself continually falling for my imagined family," he said softly. "That wasn't included in the blueprint." Just as Raven was about to reply, Dr. Martinez entered the room clad in scrubs. They both rose swiftly. With a bright smile, she declared that the surgery had gone well. "Cole is on the path to recovery." Raven's knees gave way. Milo embraced her, his arms unwavering even as relief washed over him. "When will we be able to see him?" they inquired at the same moment. "Only family for now," Dr. Martinez stated with emphasis. "He's my husband," Raven thought to herself. "Cole's stepfather figure. He remains." The physician acknowledged and guided them toward the recovery area. Cole appeared small in the hospital bed, yet his complexion had already improved. He held his stuffed giraffe, the very one Milo had inexplicably managed to find an exact replica of when the original went missing, snugly under his arm. "Take your time," Milo said, glancing back before walking away. "Stay." Raven grasped his hand. "It's time for us to discuss the next steps. After you accused me of dishonesty and returned your ring? After you saved my son's life?" She held his hand tightly. "Perhaps it's time for both of us to embrace honesty." Cole shifted a bit, murmuring softly in his slumber. They instinctively drew nearer to one another, their hands intertwined, gently resting on the bed rail. Some truths Raven understood were beyond the need for words. "His pressure is decreasing." The monitor next to Cole's bed emitted a loud alarm as nurses hurried inside. They spoke of complications after the operation, standard procedure for intricate cardiac situations. Yet, there was nothing ordinary about witnessing Cole's fragile form struggle to find balance. Raven's medical training clashed with her nurturing instincts. She was well versed in the protocols, comprehending the figures displayed on the monitors. Yet this was her creation, fighting for each breath. "Hurry up!" A team of responders stormed in. Additional alerts. Additional perspectives. Milo gently restrained her, allowing the medical team to do their job. His embrace was the sole support that held her steady. Blood pressure is 80/40. Submit the first episode. Where is that blood coming from? The medical terminology merged into a confusing haze. Raven instinctively began translating for Milo, her training as a caregiver kicking in seamlessly. She explained in a flat tone that they were administering medication to elevate his blood pressure. The bleeding is... Her voice trembled. I understand, he murmured softly. I explored every potential complication following Sarah. I am fully aware of the situation at hand. Yet another alarm sounded. Mr. Thorne? A figure from the hospital administration emerged. An urgent message has come through from your board. Not now, Milo snapped, his gaze fixed firmly on Cole. Esteemed colleague, the vote regarding the merger. I mentioned it's not the right time. His voice held such power that the administrator withdrew without hesitation. Time dragged on endlessly. Cole steadied himself, faltered, then found his footing once more. Raven swung between a cool, analytical mindset and a visceral, gut-wrenching fear. Milo remained steadfastly by their side, quietly summoning specialists, equipment, and anything else they required. During a quiet moment, your company, Raven, mentioned, it seems like you're starting to unravel, doesn't it? The board is deliberating on my removal due to a violation of the marriage clause. He merely shrugged. Allow them. Yet all that you have created can be recreated. He observed the rhythmic rise and fall of Cole's chest. Certain matters are beyond possibility. The first light of dawn spilled into Boston, gently illuminating Cole's room. His numbers had finally stabilized, a hint of color returning to his cheeks. They are fighters, Dr. Martinez remarked, as he examined the charts. Exactly like his mother. And his father, Raven murmured gently, observing Milo as he slept in the cramped chair he had settled into for the entire night. The physician arched an eyebrow yet remained silent. Later, when Cole momentarily opened his eyes, his first whispered word was Milo. Right here, winner. Milo edged nearer, the chess pieces clinking softly in his pocket, poised for their upcoming match. Have I emerged victorious? Cole inquired faintly. You achieved it all, Milo promised him, his voice heavy with feeling. Raven observed the scene before her, her son alongside the billionaire who had put it all on the line to rescue him. The deceptions that once loomed large between them appeared diminished now, eclipsed by the undeniable truth of this moment. Her phone vibrated, signaling a breaking news update. CEO of Thorne Technologies encounters board uprising. She removed it without delving deeper. Certain conflicts simply weren't worth the struggle. Indeed, some were. Milo, she murmured softly, let's discuss strategies for preserving your business. He glanced upward, taken aback. Would you be willing to assist me? Following all that has transpired? You saved our son, she stated plainly. Now it's our moment to preserve something that belongs to you. The sun ascended above Boston, heralding a new dawn that whispered of restoration for Cole's heart, and maybe for theirs too. The board convened an urgent meeting, Milo elaborated, as he paced around Cole's hospital room 2 weeks post-surgery. Tomorrow marks the day of voting. Raven glanced up from her task, assisting Cole with his physical therapy exercises. So, let's provide them with something to cast their votes on. She revealed the magazine that had unveiled Milo's secret. Your organization is dedicated to supporting ill children, correct? Motivated by Sarah. Indeed, that was the motivation behind my creation of the cardiac monitoring software. Perhaps now is the moment to reveal to the board and the world the true significance of that. She motioned towards Cole, who was now robust enough to sit up and engage in a game of chess. Demonstrate that there's more at stake than mere profit.
What do you propose?
A media briefing. Right here. Demonstrate how your technology has not only saved my son but also countless others in this ward. She locked her gaze with his. Reveal the true essence of Milo Thorne. The individual who wed a nurse to rescue a child. The individual who prioritized humanity over financial gain. The individual who shares enchanting tales at bedtime and engages in chess matches with children facing illness. Her lips curved into a smile, the individual deserving of the CEO title. The following morning, Cole's room was brimming with cameras. Raven, clad in her nurse's uniform, stood with pride beside Milo as he spoke to the board and the press. He began, "My sister Sarah passed away because we were unable to afford the treatment. I established this company to guarantee that no other family has to confront that decision. Indeed, I wed Raven to protect her child. Yet in the process, I uncovered something far more precious than any corporate alliance or market valuation. I discovered my calling." He showcased the monitoring software, detailing its pivotal role during Cole's surgery. Parents from the ward recounted comparable experiences. Milo concluded that the mission of this company goes beyond merely maximizing shareholder value. It is preserving the lives of children. If that means losing my position, then so be it. The board reached a unanimous decision to retain him as CEO. Once the cameras had departed, Cole issued a challenge to Milo for a game of chess. "Does this imply that you will be remaining?" he inquired, shifting his knight. Milo cast his gaze upon Raven, a look of inquiry in his gaze. She fumbled for her wedding ring, nestled deep within her pocket. "I believe that we all are, for it is often the most profound deceptions that unveil the deepest realities." "Will you be marrying Milo once more?" Cole inquired one morning, 6 months post-surgery, as Raven assisted him in preparing for school. It was his initial day returning after his recovery. "Could you clarify that for me, darling? So, you mentioned that the initial experience wasn't genuine. Now that it's tangible, shouldn't you consider doing it once more?" In the kitchen of their new abode, a blend of Milo's penthouse and their previous apartment, Milo almost let his coffee cup slip, unmistakably having caught the conversation. The recent months have unfolded as a path toward restoring faith. Milo had blended his two existences, no longer concealing his affluence, yet not parading it either. He transformed a segment of Thorne Technologies into a foundation dedicated to supporting children's cardiac care, appointing Raven as its director. As Milo stepped into Cole's room, he remarked, "I've been pondering that." He knelt beside Cole's bed, retrieving a small box from his pocket. "I had planned to hold off, but," Milo, Raven whispered, "the initial occasion we united was for commerce, while you entered the union for security." As he lifted the lid of the box, a ring emerged, strikingly different from the plain band he had known before. "This time I'm reaching out because my affection for you both runs deep." Cole sprang with enthusiasm. "Affirmative, dear mother." "Only if," Raven said, struggling to hold back tears. "Truth will reign always." Milo nodded in full agreement, embracing the notion of complete honesty. "As I begin this, I can't shake the fear that you might decline. And I'm scared you'll come to see that you could have any woman in Boston, but none would possess Cole's chess prowess," Milo joked, "or know how to manage his medical tools," she continued. "Or just be yourself," he concluded plainly. Cole seized the ring. "I'll keep this until Mom stops being playful and agrees." Raven chuckled amidst her tears. Indeed, this time, as Milo placed the ring on her finger, there were no contracts to finalize, no negotiations to conclude, just 3 hearts finally harmonizing in unison. Cole inquired if we could have pancakes to celebrate. With chocolate chips, Milo and Raven chimed in unison, for certain lessons were timeless and required no alteration whatsoever. 2 years later, the hospital garden flourished with vibrant spring flowers as Cole, now 7, carried the rings down the aisle with unwavering focus. He had rehearsed for this moment for weeks, resolute in his commitment to fulfill his role as ring-bearer flawlessly. "Ready?" Milo murmured to Raven at the garden entrance. With a smile that radiated confidence, she squeezed his hand, feeling more prepared than ever before. The attendees embodied a blend of diverse realms: nurses from the pediatric ward, executives from Thorne Technologies, children who had benefited from their foundation's care, and the families they had supported throughout their journey. Dr. Martinez gently wiped away her tears from the front row. Rather than exchanging conventional vows, they chose to narrate their journey together. "I entered into this union for security," Raven started, yet I found myself falling for the man who shared tales with my son. I entered into this union for the sake of business, Milo went on, yet I found myself falling for the woman who showed me that true wealth is found in family, not riches. Cole pulled gently on Milo's sleeve. May I share my thoughts as well? The guests chuckled as he advanced with a sense of significance. I realized Milo was my father long before my mother did, he declared, because true fathers engage in chess, understand heart medicine, and care for you unconditionally. The garden was filled with tears, each drop a testament to the emotions that hung in the air. Later, at the reception in the hospital's newly renamed Sarah Thorne Children's Wing, Raven spotted Milo teaching a group of young patients the intricacies of chess. It's your turn now, champion, he said to the little girl with a feeding tube, the latest case for their foundation. Some things remain constant, Raven remarked, taking a seat beside them. There are certain things that just shouldn't happen, Milo said, drawing her in closer. Cole dashed by alongside the other children, his surgical scar just a whisper beneath the fabric of his suit jacket. His laughter resonated throughout the ward where their tale commenced, for at times the finest conclusions are not conclusions at all, but rather fresh starts, and occasionally the most profound love stories initiate with a falsehood, yet culminate in a truth more magnificent than anyone could have envisioned. The little girl announced with a sense of victory, "Checkmate." "Excellent work," Milo beamed. "You need to show Cole that move." Cole shouted back, "Already did." During my checkup last week, Raven and Milo shared a knowing look, their identical rings glimmering in the light. Some triumphs they discovered held greater value than any competition.